response.
Yeah. I've been in the startup world for almost last 12 years.
But what made you bring back to India then?
Software businesses make most money when you sell in high ticket markets.
AI is taking away jobs. The answer for that from you is yes or no?
I really feel that India has lot more potential to scale from here onwards.
Right.
On a personal level, I started feeling very detached from the world.
What are the traits for entrepreneurship required to be successful? When you say the person is secluded, the American person is secluded, do you think this is the case with most of the business person only, or most of the Americans are like such?
Although right now with AI, the whole world has become like, okay, it's a level playing field, right? Like anybody can start any company sitting in Pune or Pandharpur or let's say Portugal. Same with SF, and being in that Bay Area, it's like you will actually like bump into intelligent people who are constantly thinking about like way forwarded things than you can sit here and imagine.
What do you like about Weber Suryavanshi? Who is your favorite founder in India?
It was Kunal Shah till now, but
why?
now, but these 19-year-olds are my like new founders that I really admire.
You know, there is a word that content creators are the next entrepreneurs. Do you agree with this?
Like let's say for example this Broadway company that they have started. But when Nikhil Kamath and Kishore Biyani partner together and start Broadway, naturally it becomes like a great fit for them. So I think for him this is also another way of like distribution, I feel.
Let's say you have got 100 crores. Your path would be via entrepreneurship to make next 1000 crores or via VC.
The VCs who come in as the early investors, they make the most money, right?
Because this is an era of AI. Do you think the person graduating by the age of 22, is this still fine?
Honestly, there are no business gaps or idea gaps in the world. I'll give you a reason about this.
One, it is positioning itself as a Indian first premium brand. You like the logo of it?
Not really, could have been better, but I think the whole service industry has a lot of like executional gaps.
Let's say if there is a business person doing business offline, that person wants to move online in the online space. How should that person do that? Yeah, I also think that the number of jobs won't decrease, because what happens is every time when this evolution happens, even via technology, the humans increases their age. After 20-30 years, we can definitely see this, that we are traveling to Mars. I also think that in future there are chances that one person is always accompanied with one robot all the time. So
exactly. I am happy to be a dog walker also. Like
Right.
Dog walkers will make a lot of
unless
money.
you make money, then it's fine. Claude versus ChatGPT, which one do you use? So thank you for coming, Pawan.
Of
Pleasure is
course,
all
my
mine.
pleasure.
So the objective today is simple. We want to do an in-depth conversation. If any entrepreneur, any budding entrepreneur wants to start his or her journey,
Yep.
normally the question that he wants to ask, the answer that he gets are mostly superficial. But with your experience, with your exposure, we want to learn like everything from starting to scaling.
Okay.
How the entrepreneur can do that. And first of all, if you can quickly introduce, let's say if the person does not know you,
Yes.
and wants to know about you, if you can briefly introduce yourself. So that will be helpful.
Super. I wish this was like a 2-hour podcast so I could do like a long conversation and introduction about me, but to keep it short and brief, I've been in the startup world for almost last 12 years, and every time I've taken up a project or started my own company, it has always been to unlock and like scale from let's say X to 5X, X to 10X. So that's where typically I've like come across and like worked in my across like last 12 years. Most of that has been in the tech space. It has been some form of software or technology that's about let's say a marketing software or a HR tech software. My last startup was about an accounting, AI accounting software. And currently what I'm scaling right now is an AI healthcare startup for US clinics, where we help physiotherapy clinics, chiropractic clinics over there in the US to, do their entire patient intake to insurance claims and denials, everything on one single platform. So my last 10-12 years have been in technology, so I've seen fairly on the ground. However, my education was in metallurgy and material science from COEP. The reason why I chose that was because I was born in Aurangabad, which is now Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. My dad was in government office. He was in Provident Fund, worked like a Sarkari Babu for almost like entire of his life. So our upbringing, I have two elder sisters, all three of us had like a very, I would say, lower middle class kind of like upbringing. And the only way for us to, like do something good in life was to have hard work and discipline in life. So my childhood was always like very boring, structured, disciplined thing. Okay, so 6 baje उठना है, go to school, study there, be a first bencher, come back, have lunch, go to classes again, study there again, come back in the evening, do homework and all of that, and then go back to sleep. Only on the weekends used to be like playing cricket. Sports has a big, sports has a big impact on my life, and probably in the conversation we'll talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, and now currently I'm working in the AI healthcare space, and of course, like Pune has been like my last 10-12 years. So this is like my second hometown kind of city that I talk about. So when I came back to Pune from spending some time in the US in the Bay Area, I was like, okay, there needs to be a founder community, a startup community here that's more vibrant than what we have just been doing. And that's
you mean
how,
to say you were in San Francisco, right?
Yeah. So that's how the whole 411 community also like happened. Me and Devyani, we were just meeting for coffee, and I was like, I'm getting really bored. Please, you invite 5 people, I'll invite 5 people, and let's go out for dinner, have good conversation with people. It started with that and just like kept scaling, and that's the thing about good ideas.
Right.
There is that idea gap, this is something that the market kind of needs, and you execute it well. That's literally how any business would be. And we'll talk more about this, but yeah, these days, my life is usually working in the AI healthcare ecosystem, and then the Pune founder community, and sometimes being on podcasts like this.
Nice. So to sum up, you were into San Francisco, you came back to Pune, joined 411.
Yep.
And you're already working on the AI healthcare.
Yes.
But you're targeting this AI healthcare into US.
Yes, only in US.
Why
because
is it so?
So software businesses...
Honest reasons.
Yeah, honest reasons. Software businesses make most money when you sell in high ticket markets. Like for a software like that, a physiotherapy clinic here in India, let's say makes 2 lakh rupees. Let's say a single person clinic, I'm saying, like a single provider, they might make 2 lakh rupees or 5 lakh or let's say 10 lakh also. But a single clinic in US makes like $1 million and stuff like that. So naturally for them, they are okay to spend, let's say, $10,000 a month on a software. Whereas somebody who's making 5 lakh here in India, they wouldn't be okay to spend almost like 1 lakh just on the software bit. And plus the competition here in India is very like the price cutting kind of thing. If I make a software that's used by, let's say, take example of Paid Puja. Now, Paid Puja has done something brilliant in the whole ecosystem because they started way back.
What is Paid Puja?
The restaurant billing and the
ERP.
the restaurant whole entire ERP system where it's about orders that are coming, the billing, and even they have like the employee punch in, punch out. It's kind of like an HR tech also, but like an overall ERP. So there are quite a few smaller players who have been building something similar, and now they're just like price cutting themselves. So that's what happens majorly in the software business here in India. But US is not like that. They don't care if, somebody else is giving in $9,000 and they'll spend like $1,000, but they need that quality and the technology that should like really work. I think that way, why the whole world keeps going back to US for anything technology. You see all the stock market also in US, right? Like the Nvidia, Meta, Google, everybody sits there. All the other stock markets in the world also invest in US. So naturally the whole technology plays over there. It's easy to actually build businesses in India. Like honestly, like if I just be very transparent here, compared to US with the whole compliances, the way sales cycle happen over there, they are like much longer. You need a lot more convincing over there. It's a lot more expensive to run a business in US. So all of those things become a little difficult, but selling or building a startup here in India is, I think, much easier.
So right now you're more focused into 411 or?
No, 411 is my Saturday thing.
Okay.
Instead of partying in Pune, I thought like, okay, what should I do while I'm in this city now? And that's where like I spend my Saturdays entirely on this to think about, okay, what else can we do? Can there be another event? Can there be certain digital IPs? that are already in conversations as of now and those kind of stuff. And I'm okay to build it slowly.
Got it.
I am in no rush, nor
It's a side
really. Yeah. And even though it's like side gig, but I don't want to like undermine it
Right.
with the commitment that we have for it. It might feel like, okay, I'm giving only my 1 day out of the
Right.
7 days, but that 1 day is also like really committed and like we have
You need to
focused
prep
on
it for like
exactly.
a month for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody who has attended the events, they'll know like how it is. The experience is different. It's not just any other like startup ecosystem event that like happens and all of that. We really put some thought into it when we curate the people, when we like think about an event idea and all of that.
So you have been into San Francisco. The word about San Francisco is that the ecosystem, the mindset there really supports entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
So can you tell more about it?
It's really
Is
about
it true or it's more like
Of course
fake?
it's true. Like the best place to actually build a tech company is SF only. Like you can't really like think of any other better place. Although right now with AI, the whole world has become like, okay, it's a level playing field, right? Like anybody can start any company sitting in Pune or Pandharpur or let's say Portugal,
Right.
anywhere. So I think that level playing field has happened, but just the sheer energy of the people who are in that city, every city has its own energy, right? Like in India also, you go to Delhi, you go to Bangalore, you be in Bombay, wherever, you know that there is certain energy in that city. Same with SF and being in that Bay Area, it's like you will actually like bump into intelligent people who are constantly thinking about like way forwarded things than you can sit here and imagine. So I think just being in that kind of a community and like shared ecosystem just like really uplifts your brain.
But what made you bring back to India then?
So 2-3 reasons. One, first personal reason, like my mom was not doing well. So, and at the same time, my elder sister, she was moving to Canada. So it felt like, okay, somebody has to be here and for those reasons. And in the long run, I want to be actually in India only. I really feel that India has a lot more potential to, like scale from here onwards. We are at that right, I would say, graph point where from here onwards it can just like peak aggressively. And I think that's the potential that I really see here. And today, as I said, like that AI has made everything like a level playing field. So it's possible you be in India and build for US, you be in Europe and build for US or whatever, Australia, wherever you want to do that. So that's also possible. Plus, I think the familiarity, right? Like
Right.
on a personal level, I started feeling very detached from the world. And
There.
yeah, over there. And I am not that kind of a person. I like having people around. I like having my friends around, spending time with my family, celebrating those festivals on Ganpati, Diwali, Raksha Bandhan and all of that. And I understood that for a long term, I can't really like do this. So instead of being like, okay, let's spend 10 years in US and then come back, nobody like comes back after you spend 10 years
Right.
in another country. You're just going to become a citizen over there and you're going to become like a pseudo-Indian, I would rather say. So it was a tough call to either like make that move immediately now or never make that move. So I was like, no, I have
need
to
to
come
come
back
back.
to India because no matter the money or the, the all this like the glamour of the tech world, but I still feel a lot more grounded and humble when I'm around my family, around my friends.
Speaking the language which we
Exactly,
were
yeah.
brought up.
And just like having the feeling of, okay, I know this place. I know the food and the
Right.
taste of it.
Cuisines.
I know the air is polluted, but
It more feels like home
exactly. So I'm okay if I will like die sooner because of the air pollution, but at least I'll
Live
with my family, my friends, and all those people. So it's actually after a point became like a very irrational decision. But majority of life decisions are kind of irrational only.
Got it.
You decide, okay, what education you want to take. Okay, that's a rational decision, logical decision. But eventually, let's say things like, okay, which partner, who do you want to be your romantic
Right.
partner for
Everything
the rest of your
matters.
life? All of those things are mostly irrational.
Right.
So yeah, this was like an irrational decision of my life.
But when you say the person is secluded, the American person is secluded, do you think this is the case with most of the business person only, or most of the Americans are like such?
I think their lifestyle itself is like that. Business people, of course, entrepreneurs are kind of like lonely in a way. No
but
matter
other than entrepreneurs.
Other than non-entrepreneurs also, and everybody who's just, let's say, working at a job like Salesforce or somewhere else in the tech world, I feel there also life is very monotonous. They would let's say, go to the gym in the morning, then go to the office, have those fancy meals in office, right? Like you see those reels of Google Office, Meta Office, everything, like right from their breakfast to their gym to their sauna, everything is in their office because the company is creating those distractions for you where you don't feel lonely.
Right.
But I think self-awareness just hits you at a very random point in your life, and you'll be like, okay, no, this is all distraction.
So
when I go back home, I do feel lonely about like being alone here in a foreign country.
So only on the reels and like in the TV it looks good, the American life good, but actually it is very lonely.
I mean, like,
to sum up.
Correct. Of course, to some people, right? Like some people who would have probably lived very like nuclear family and like not very closely connected to their parents, they might really enjoy that. They might feel liberating. Okay, finally I am in a country where I feel like quite more free than I was in India. So for some people it can feel great, but for me, I have been brought up by two of my elder sisters, my mother, my dad, and like my entire colony ke bacche were like, we used to be like playing cricket or whatever, football all the day. So that's how my upbringing has been, and it just was like a completely different shift for me. So probably did not work for me, but somebody who enjoys a lot of solitude,
for that person it is good.
Yeah, for them it's okay. You will like make a lot of money, save that money, buy a BMW over there, buy a house over there, put it up on your Instagram, get married over there and all of those things. Talk to your parents once in 2 weeks, then eventually once in a month, and then just like on birthdays and all of those things. But I chose not to have that kind of a life.
You're a batsman or a bowler?
I used to be an all-rounder, but now that I am 32, my shoulder doesn't allow me to bowl a lot.
Fast bowler.
Yeah, but now I just prefer like...
But bowling fast really excites you, no?
Exactly.
Like,
and it's
you're throwing
just...
the ball you want to throw the ball at the maximum speed you want, and it feels good.
It's just the attitude of a fast bowler, right? I mean, like in life, you need to have that kind of a competitive attitude. Otherwise, everybody is just going to walk over you. Right. So I think the attitude of a fast bowler is like, okay, I don't care, you might be Vaibhav Suryavanshi, but I'm still going to bowl fast at you, a bouncer, and then, like try to get your wicket. So I think that attitude of a fast bowler is there, but now body doesn't allow me to do that.
What do you like about Vaibhav Suryavanshi?
I think just the fearless attitude, and then also like not giving fucks about, okay, what the world is thinking about me. Am I 15? Everybody around him keeps talking that he's 15-year-old. Everybody around Ronaldo keeps talking that he's 41-year-old and all of that. But I don't think so. They are thinking about those things. So cutting off that noise at such a young age, man, like 15, 16 years old is like barely your whole cognitive development has happened, and like still having the mental strength to be in an environment like that, still perform, and then not be affected by that noise is, I think, brilliant.
Interesting. So let's talk more about entrepreneurship. Let's say if a person, first of all, let us discuss this, that you said that it is better to aim the US market or the European markets in order to earn better money. Let's say if there is a person who has developed an ERP and the product fits there as well, for that market as well, and the person wants to market there, sell there, then how can he do that sitting in India?
Let's take a step back on this question first. Like, for example, like every founder should kind of like question themselves that why am I starting this business? Do I want to make money? Do I want to make impact? Do I just want the tag of being a founder, entrepreneur, or the thrill of it? Or like having the reason that, oh, I'm bored of my job, so I want to start something of my own and do that. Eventually, if you are getting bored of something, you will get bored of another thing also. So boredom is never going to be a solution to, starting a startup or following an idea. If your goal is to make money, that, okay, I want to build a $100 million company, like 1,000 crore, 10,000 crore, and that kind of a company, you can build that from India also. It's not a problem. You can build that. Like Reliance, Gautam Adani, so many of these other people have been building these businesses, right? Like you look at the top 10 richest people in the country, all of them are like massive manufacturers, or like the telecom people, or the D-Mart, Dalmia Group, and all of those folks. So I think if your aim is to make money, you can make that in Cape Verde also.
Right.
Where the population is just 5 lakh, and like now Argentina is like was playing them. So I think you can, if your goal is to make money, you can make that in any market under any idea. But if your thing is to impact, make a like world-class software, have the impact that Indians can build a world-class technology and a product like what Sarvam AI is building right now, which is the foundational LLM models. What Zoho built like long back, and all of those things. If your aim is to have that kind of an impact, yes, you can then go and think about US first. But if your goal is to make money, you can even make money in just one district. Forget one district, you can just make money in one taluka district, or like a small village also. So I think I wouldn't say that it's a compulsory or a necessity that if you want to make a big company, a big money bucks, you have to go to US or Europe. You can make it from India also, but I think technological product and businesses are far more done better in US rather than India.
Okay, but how do you target that? How do you target that market sitting here in India?
Correct. So
or
first
you
of
can't,
all,
or you should not.
I would say like you should spend some time in the US first.
Okay.
And then kind of get close to the problem statement. If you're building a software for, let's say, clinics in the US, find at least 100 people who you can talk to understand their everyday routine at those clinics. Once you know, okay, out of those 100, 75 people told me the same problem, and that problem isn't solved yet. So you know that, okay, this is a problem statement that can be explored, and maybe start small. Never ever like try to build the full ERP first. Always build like the micro products, ship them, get it tested. If they get approved and people are liking and there is user love, then make the next feature, ship that, get feedback on that. And that's how you start building everything else. Nobody like starts building a whole product suite of like softwares all at once. They start with, let's say, first an HRMS software, then maybe the finance part, invoicing part, anything else, documentation,
slowly
automations.
scale.
Exactly. And the thing is, today with AI, you can build this quite quickly, how it was in 2016, but today it's quite easily like possible. So I would say that spend time closer to the problem statement. Any problem, not just, let's say, US technology. If you're building, let's say, skincare for men, or hair care product for Indian men who are suffering because of bike travel, their helmet is causing them, let's say, hair fall or dandruff, whatever, and that's a very specific problem.
Right.
But the TAM of it is much higher. Like
Right.
there are thousands and like millions of bike riders, and that becomes like you can validate that by talking to 100, 200 riders and understanding them, then build the product really well enough and all of that, and then keep shipping newer product lines.
Right.
So I think that should be the way to think about any idea, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Who is your favorite founder in India?
It was Kunal Shah till now, but
why?
now,
Why?
now that he moved to being the global
He's still
CEO
Indian,
of
no?
WhatsApp, he's still an Indian, of course, but like I just feel like he had a very no bullshit kind of philosophy and attitude. And that was kind of like really like needed in this ecosystem. I think Indian entrepreneurs, as their personal brand, play very safe. It might be for PR purposes, it might be for other reasons. Like I can understand Nitin Kamath has a very like diplomatic way sometimes of writing his LinkedIn post, because they are in a very regulated industry. He's saying something can really screw up their business as well. But I still like really value some of his personal anecdotes that he shares when he went through some health crisis and in his family as well. But I think Kunal Shah is a great example of how to, be persuasive about an idea, how to really do things differently. Like what Steve Jobs used to say, right? Like think different and do things differently, and all of that, and do your life's best work every day and stuff like that. I think he had that kind of mentality. I have known some of his, like the Cred early team members as well, and the way he used to hire as well, like he would hire musicians, Like he would always check if that person, apart from being, let's say, a software developer or a designer, do they have other hobbies or not? And that becomes a very important skill. And you can't create an HR policy of this,
Right.
but it's just a personality trait and the way of thinking of the founder.
Right.
Nobody else probably thinks like this, that when I want to hire a software developer, he should also have other hobbies and skills. People just are focused, how is their technical skill? But I think he had that, I would say, a little bit
attitude.
go-getter and also a little crackhead kind of attitude, where you have to really think differently, because in order to be number one, you have to be a little odd. You can't be like an even number and like play safe to be the number one. You have to be a little odd to be the number one. So I think like that kind of attitude kind of really like attracts me in a founder.
And who is your favorite now, the founder?
Honestly, I can't think of like anybody that I really like admire on the top of my head. Of course, there are people who are doing great things. But these 19-year-olds are my like new founders that I really admire. They have a high tolerance of failure. They're okay that, even if I fail, I'm fine. I'm still in college. I can probably complete my college and then get a job and placement at BCG or McKinsey, wherever else. But now that I am 19 and 20 and I have this safety net of being in the college, I can build any product, I can ship any product, and then kind of think, can I make, let's say, first $100 with it? Then think about $1,000, then $10,000. So I think those are the kind of people that I admire now. Of course, the great founders like the Zoho founders, Zerodha and Razorpay founders, all of those folks are there and they are doing great. But I think the 19-year-old are the people to really watch out for, just like in cricket. Now you're talking about Vaibhav Suryavanshi.
Right.
Even in the entrepreneurial world, these 19-year-old, 20-year-old people are like really like building great stuff.
But there has been a buzz about Gen Zs that, they are very fickle-minded. So what do you think about it? Because like you said, the 19-year child or the entrepreneurial person that has a very clarity about what he needs to do in life and everything. But there is second word about Gen Zs that, they say something and do something. So what do you think about it?
I think in a way it's good for them that they are fickle-minded also. They'll keep trying different things. And any entrepreneurship journey, even in the business, you have to keep trying different things. Because the ability to move on from the failure, right, that is really needed in entrepreneurship. So if your first product idea did not work well, you can't just be sad about it and be stuck with it and prove the world that no, I did not fail. You have to accept the failure, move on, and build the second feature or the second product with same enthusiasm. So that cycle of, like building, having that enthusiasm, seeing the
Failing
failure,
again and
being
rising
sad
again.
about it, and then getting up again the next day and building again with the same enthusiasm. I think it's okay. The Gen Zs, if they have that fickle mind, they'll keep like doing this cycle. I think much better than the millennials, I feel. The millennials are still stuck on their ex sometimes and like listening to Atif Aslam, Arjit Singh, but the Gen Zs are the one who are like quickly moving on.
Interesting. There is a word that content creators are the next entrepreneurs. Do you agree with this?
I think this was, anything that's trendy, right? It just becomes like a word that and a phrase that everybody keeps using. This actually started in the pandemic era, where large businesses were going to content creators because everybody was digital and everybody was locked on their phones and screens. So naturally, all attention was going to content creators. The market and the trends keep moving their attention from one thing to another. And content creators are just like distributors. Any actual dhanda, right? Like you go on the ground, there is some manufacturer, and then there are these traders, jo kirane ka saman or the grocery store, they will like put into different smaller shops in every locality. I see content creators more like a distributor first rather than just entrepreneurs.
But let's say if the person is building his or her own brand or something, selling himself, then maybe it is a better way to distribute as well at the same time. First build distribution and then, let's say you reach 1 million followers and then you start a company. But that is also a good way to start.
If you have 1 million followers, why do you need to take the headache of building a product or whatever, another software that you want to sell or anything, then become a media company, right? Media is a much better business for you, and like,
but afterwards the person needs to, shift his positioning or her positioning, that, I'm not just a content creator, because honestly, I'm seeing this, that let's say if you say someone that you are a content creator, it's less of a,
they don't take you seriously.
Yeah.
But I
they
think,
don't
like,
as in, that is not like the fame associated with it is not that great.
I
But
think,
let's say
like,
if you say that a person is, a business person, then the rush, the high is more in that.
I think I would say Gen Zs can also be investors, right? Like, be an angel investor in a startup.
But the person does not have money, then what to do?
So let's take example of this 1 million follower. Okay?
Yeah. Interesting.
The 1 million, let's take this as a case study. Let's say there is a person, I think on Latent, this Jenny person recently came on the Latent show. I saw her before the show. She had 1 million followers and she has great sense of humor. And just like in 2-3 days of time, she has like 1.8 or close to 2 million followers. Now, for her to make easy money, okay, if her aim in life is to make easy money, I would say just do brand deals. Why do you want to get the headache of, okay, starting your own product line about, let's say, some D2C software, like some D2C business or a software business or something else? You can just do your own like brand partnerships, do long-term brand partnerships, leverage the new growth and engagement that you're getting on your account and like capitalize on that. As long as your aim is to make money, I would say like find easy ways of doing it. You don't always have to have difficult ways and hard ways towards success. There can be easy ways also.
Right.
And for example, if by being a media company as a content creator, I reach to, let's say, $10 million of net worth in 5 years, and I have an easy, comfortable life also while doing that. And if I start my own entrepreneurship journey and start my product line and everything and reach to $12 million in 5 years, I made $2 million extra. But this amount of stress I had and the amount of like challenges I went through is unnecessary sometimes.
But people don't understand it, no? That normally this comes with time. This wisdom comes with time, that, just after spending already 2 years, you come to realize that this is really hard.
Yeah, that's why you should listen to Mr. Seven's podcast. So then they will get to know that all the people I've had, जिसने ये सब ठोकर खाई है, they are telling you now that there are easy ways also to make money. See, I think entrepreneurship.
Then why is Nikhil Kamath doing this podcast?
I seriously am finding answers for it, but I think it's also great place for him to build his own distribution for next phase of startups that he's building, right? Like, let's say, for example, this Broadway company that they have started. Now, what does Broadway do? They are like offline retail chain for all the online businesses, like Niche Hair or some of these other like popular online brands. For those independent brands to go and get a mall space in a Copa Mall or let's say Phoenix would be very difficult. But when Nikhil Kamath and Kishore Biyani partner together and start Broadway, and they launch these small brands in a big space like Copa Mall and Bangalore and Hyderabad, Delhi, other places, naturally it becomes like a great fit for them. So I think for him, this is also another way of like distribution, I feel.
Also, I think he enjoys conversating with people. I think that's his USP. He likes that.
See, he has a large team. Whenever he's interviewing a guest, he's not sitting and searching on Claude GPT and Google that, okay, give me questions about this person or all of that. Or maybe he even does. He might have his own ways of, like getting to know a person via when their network is so strong, they can just like WhatsApp a friend and ask him, tell me 5 questions that I should ask XYZ person, and they would like give them those 5 questions. So for him, I think it's also easy way to do it. Like a lot of these founders who have already made their worth in the world, they always think about return on energy and return on time.
Right.
It's not just the return on investment in terms of money, but the return on energy and return on time is also something that they absolutely like keep in mind. That, okay, if I'm going to spend my 2 hours today on this podcast recording, what is it going to lead me to? The same podcast can give him access to Elon Musk's like the team and all of that. No doubt he's one of India's like richest person, but I think having that kind of network also becomes very, very important. So I think it's more, I would say, from a distribution and network perspective Of course, we'll never know the actual factual answers and his reasons of doing it. But I also feel he's doing great. I think that
Do you listen to his podcast?
The early ones, yes. Now I think
the group discussion ones are way better than the one-on-one.
Yeah, and I think he certain topics about what India needs, and let's say I think they had a topic about alcohol businesses and some of those things. So those were fascinating because I have never heard about the alcohol business in so much depth. But listening to that over a 2.5 hour long form podcast without the gimmicks of sound effects and all those things, right? It's slow conversations that are going on. And that's the kind of content I have also started enjoying. I don't want the constant flashes of text and those risers, SFX and all of those things coming into my screen, because I know it's a way to give me dopamine and to keep me hooked. But listening to his conversations is more okay, I feel I am in a boardroom and I am talking to these people and I'm part of the conversations. So I think his audience is also this kind rather than...
the TAM is clearly different.
Correct. One, I think just on another thought in my head, I think when you have this widespread distribution, right, understand how the VC world also works. Any new age startup founder who has newer ideas, let's say in the health and wellness space or other space, when they have the right idea, they have the initial users and everything, they start going for fundraising, right? The first name that would come to your head would be Nikhil Kamath and his team, because they have constantly heard him, seen him on internet. He's constantly talking about how he funded 25 founders under 25 age and all of that.
So if the person has two options, two VCs, then obviously the person would like to go to this Nikhil Kamath rather than...
Because initially 10 years ago for us, it was okay, the institutional VCs were the people that we could raise money from.
Right.
Or angel investors who would give you the money. So I think that was the option, but today it's not like that. Today even content creators have become angel investors.
So basically his distribution is his money via his podcast.
Exactly. And if you make the VCs who come in as the early investors, they make the most money, right? Let's say the Grow app or Meesho app, they got publicly listed, but their first early investors were Y Combinator from US and few India investors in their Series A round or in their second, third round as well. And when you go in early on a startup, it's the valuation game, right? How stock market also works. You take, let's say, 2% of the company at a valuation of, let's say, $10 million. But when they got publicly listed, that 2% became $100 million.
100x to 100x.
So,
recently that also happened with Meta, taking a stake in this cred. The earlier investors got 17x, 20x returns.
So I don't know the exact details of those numbers and the math that has happened over there, but I think I also feel that's kind of the case, because I think in total Cred had raised $900 million and then Meta also invested $900 million in it, and Kunal joined over there. So it kind of also seems like an acqui-hiring kind of a deal, but I honestly have not read too deeply into it. These are just some Reddits and tweets that just were floating, and that's what I'm quoting here, but I'm not got into the details, but it seems like that kind. But every VC wants to get in early and then make sure that they exit when they get into IPO or other things.
Let's say you have got 100 crores. So your path would be via entrepreneurship to make next 1,000 crores or via VC method to make next 1,000 crores.
I would rather divide it into some aspects.
But entrepreneurship itself is very difficult path.
Yeah.
You need to choose one.
I think I would...
that depends
in the VC, I understood. So let's say if I have 100 crores and I want to choose if I want to be an entrepreneur and turn that 100 crore into 1,000 crores, or I become a VC and then keep investing. My choice here would be to actually go via the entrepreneurship route, because when you're investing as a VC, you are actually showing your trust and confidence into the other person, and the other person can succeed or fail. There can be two options into it. But when I know, okay, if I have the 100 crores, I will work on an idea. No matter what, I need to have the attitude in myself that, okay, I will keep building. I will find my path to success. I will have the bets on myself. And I think that would make me feel much safer rather than me, let's say, investing in somebody else. So my personal choice would be this, but the finance gurus might have different opinions.
I think
they
that
can have
depends
their-
on person to person.
Yeah, yeah.
Either of the ways is right.
Yeah.
That depends completely on person.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you run this Join 911, right? So most of the people that are coming there are maybe upcoming business enthusiasts or they are already building. What do you think? What are the most questions? What are the major problems they face at this point of time that they are asking in your event?
So in the 411 community and the events also, right? Like most of the people are like late stage founders, or I would say people who are already making some bit of revenue. They are not very idea stage founders or like very early stage. We actually like try to keep it in a manner that at least you should have like 1 crore of revenue in a particular financial year, and those are the kind of like things that we actually like curate. The usual questions, and why also just a reason of why we have kept it that way is because idea stage founders can have multiple questions, and all of those questions are sometimes subjective. If somebody who's building, let's say, a t-shirt brand, they will come and ask me about, like how do I scale this business? For me as a customer, I really like prefer the quality and the longevity of that t-shirt. But for somebody else, it's like they want the fine printed